Hey there, YouTube. So today I was just going around, surfing the web, minding my own business, until I walked upon a channel called something to the effect of Mr. Craig, Dr. Craig's videos or something. And it's of course not Dr. Craig, just a fan of his works. And I'm just sort of surfing around, looking at his videos, and I see one video about why atheists are so boring. And maybe he has a point. Maybe we are boring. Rationality, logic, who needs it when you have God? Dr. Craig is always one of those guys who kind of throws me, because he seems partially intelligent. Until you hear the claims he's making, or at least you break down his arguments. So he goes in to tell how atheists are, ridiculous. We're making ridiculous claims, we're victims, etc., etc. Well, you know what? If my manager found out that I was an atheist, outspokenly at least, if I didn't walk in saying maybe I was agnostic, he hasn't asked me a question yet about it, thank God. He's always in the store talking about religion. I really believe if he was an atheist, he'd probably try and fire me. I mean, he would treat me differently, that's for sure. I don't think he could get away with firing me just because I was an atheist. But I'm sure he'd find a reason. I mean, he's an evangelicalist Christian. He would go as far as to say that we live in a Christian country. He makes all the poor claims, lots of weak appeals. And I have to tolerate it because I don't want to get into a fight with my manager, because I'm still honestly worried that I'm going to get fired if I reveal I'm an atheist. So I'm kind of caught there. But he says that atheists aren't victims. No. Nothing bad ever happens. We're never discriminated against. We have nothing to fear. Really. The problem is that most of the country is Christian, and they don't really want to hear what atheists have to say. I'm fine with that. I just don't like the fact that I am genuinely worried of losing my job if I reveal I'm an atheist. That's a little ridiculous. Maybe it's stupid. Maybe there really is no fear there, and I'm making a big deal out of nothing, but I honestly feel like I could get fired. As for the rest of his video, he makes just a lot of stupid assumptions. It's ridiculous. He just strawmans atheists constantly. He says something to the effect that, why don't atheists go out and make more metaphysical arguments against God? And I was thinking, so, Mr. Craig, how does one demonstrate, how does one prove a negative? How does one disprove a negative is what I'm trying to say. How can you prove that fairies cannot exist? How can you do it? How can it be done? Please explain to me how this can be done. I cannot rule out a god. I don't know any rational atheist who can possibly rule out every god. There's always a possibility. And I'm just thinking, how intelligent is this prick? I mean, he goes around talking like he's so intelligent, such a philosopher, and then he makes his stupid claims. What does he expect from atheists? I really want to know, what does he expect us to make an argument for? How can you disprove a negative? It's impossible. I can't prove that God cannot exist. I can rule out gods that are logically inconsistent, and if you give him certain qualities, you say he's omniscient and omnipotent, I can make an argument against that and say that you can't have both. So now it's just sort of like, how can I prove that God cannot possibly exist? I can't do that. I can't even prove that unicorns don't exist. I can't even prove that other people exist. Solipsism. I can't prove a lot of things, but I can demonstrate things quite easily. And if you can't demonstrate it, I see no reason to believe in it. Now, I've read William Craig's, articles on, does God exist? He makes 5 arguments. At least 3 of them are irrelevant. I remember the last argument he makes is a moral argument. Morals have nothing to do with whether or not God exists. He makes an argument about the empty tomb. Jesus has nothing to do with this. He's just trying to make Christianity seem more plausible, but that's not having anything to do with God existing. The empty tomb argument, by the way, is gotta be one of the weakest, stupidest arguments I've ever heard for God. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. I mean, if I had buried a squirrel and it was gone after 3 days, my first assumption was not that it went to heaven, etc., etc. I don't care what you claim Jesus was or who he was. it's just not the most plausible answer that he just sort of went to heaven. I mean, maybe you presume that he's God and he has all the magic powers, but, you know, if you want to talk about rationality, making presumptions like that are pretty ridiculous just to begin with. So it kind of blows me away that he talks like he's so rational, but he's so not. His biggest argument, he just demonstrates that, okay, we cannot live in an infinite universe because there's all these absurdities. But then he goes on to claim that his God is infinite, and that he does exist, and it's like, so everything has a cause. Except for God, am I right? Am I right? Do I win something? I mean, if there's uncaused cause, it's a paradox. That's why we can't end the infinite regression. That's why we're still lost in the metaphysics of it. People can claim that they know God or they have a decent answer for it, or deism answers the question best. Fine. I'm waiting on the evidence. It's just, you want to make that assumption, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. But I'm concerned about the evidence. I want to know what's most correct here. What's the most correct and plausible position to take. And I can't see any way. I feel like I'm basically stuck at atheism even if I didn't want to be an atheist. I can't see any other really position to take that's rational at this point. Now, unless you have some serious evidence for God, which I'd be very interested in. Not that I think I have that many theist subscribers, but one day maybe I'll get some good discussion. I hope so, because I go to these. In fact, I subscribe to the guy simply because I love to debate Christians over comments. It's fun. I mean, it gets a little annoying after time, but I usually like it, and I'm willing to subscribe. Pisses me off when a Christian, or anyone, atheist, theist, I don't care who you are. If you need to filter out comments, if you need to add approval, if you need to disable your ratings for your videos on discussion, especially discussion, sometimes it's okay to disable ratings and comments because it's not important that it gets commented or rated on. But with a discussion video like, you know, someone's just trying to attack atheists here, you better allow something. Come on, I mean, that's ridiculous. Give us a chance to speak our mind, at least. I posted some comments. I don't expect to see him. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll post as a video response. Maybe he'll... Well, he can't reply because he's just a fan. But, he'll never accept the video response. If you're filtering comments, you're not going to accept a video response, no. But, it's ridiculous. That's really all I can say about it. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this little rant. Yeah, have a nice day.